Hello and welcome to the Ham Radio Guy podcast. This is episode number 58. This week's episode is a little different as I'm currently on vacation, but we've got a great segment lined up for you. We're joined by Steve Berry, N1EZ, the creator of DX QSO, a cloud-based logbook designed specifically for DXers and hams who love to log and track their contacts from anywhere. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and if you want to see a demo of the DX QSO Cloud Logbook in action, be sure to check out the video version on our YouTube channel. I'll include the link in the show notes. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I did recording it. Good evening and welcome to the Ham Radio Guy podcast. This evening, I have a guest with me, Steve Berry, N1EZ from DX QSO. We'll be talking about the logbook and the logbook integrations and how that works. And I think it's a really cool integration program, how he's building this up. Really meant to be able to take those different logbooks and merge them all into one place, so you have them all from different locations, especially if you're using like a Mac program, or you're using a Windows program, or you've got a program you're using for like hammers or something like that out in the field for POTA or Ham2K, and then you bring it home and it's like, all right, now I've got to upload all those files to somewhere else, and this program is going to allow us to be able to do that. So let's bring in our guest this evening, Mr. Steve Berry.
Hey.
Good evening, Steve.
Good evening. Hey, Marvin.
Very good. How are you doing?
Terrific, man.
Good.
How are you?
Good. Oh, no, it's a great night. It's a little cool here in Western Mass. It's not like you're in Massachusetts too, but
New Hampshire. Don't do that.
New Hampshire. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. It's like, the cool weather that's passed through this couple of days has just been crazy. So I'm ready for warmer weather.
We're trying to turn the heat on. Believe me, we're resisting, but it's...
I did. I had to turn the heat on today.
Yeah.
I had to break it down and do it. So yeah, absolutely. So, but that's what the end of May can be for you. It is what it is. So we want to talk a little bit this evening about DX QSO. So tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how this came about, and we'll go more from there.
All right. Well, Steve, N1EZ. I've been licensed since 1977. Crazy how time flies. But I've sort of been interested in a lot of different areas of ham, mostly tending to computer integration type stuff has always kind of been, really kind of what's piqued my curiosity.
Oh,
But I
IT background then?
What's that?
A little bit of an IT background?
Yeah, it is. I started out as a software developer and ran a software, had my own company and
Sure.
So I'm now retired, officially retired, I think is the thing. So
Well, I don't know if they ever say that. You're never officially retired.
I know, not with
More
DX QSO.
retired than they are when they actually were fully working, right?
Yeah,
more work
I've
going
been
on,
discovering that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I do a lot, with HF and satellite, but I kind of look at myself as a jack of all trades. I like to play around in mobile. So logbook integration has always been kind of a pain in the butt. I do a lot of remote work using my iPad. I started off using a PC, then a tablet, a Windows tablet, and then I moved to an iPad and trying to get everything working perfectly. And then the logbook portion of it was the thing that kind of irritated me because it was always sort of the, manual thing that I had to clean up at the end, and I would get lost in ADIF files. So that's kind of where DX QSO came around, and with a background in IT, I looked at it as a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that I can understand the frustration. I've gone, when I go out and do a POTA activation, I'm using my iPad, but sometimes I've used a laptop as well. And then I'll go, to field day, and then they're using N3FJP. So I bring my Windows laptop to integrate with them. And then I've got, I'm at home, I'm using my MacBook or my Mac computer, and I'm logging a different, logger through that for maybe a contest weekend. And, everybody, similar to a Cabrillo file, even though there's some standards out there, there is differences. I'm also the president of Winter Field Day. And so I didn't mention that to you earlier before.
No,
here, but a lot of people will use all these different programs, and there is a difference in ADIF. There's a difference in Cabrillos.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
whether your N3FG puts out kind of one version of Cabrillo, and maybe a rum log on the Mac will put out a little bit different version of it, of a Cabrillo file. So it's like
Mhm.
it becomes a mess for us on the back end when people are submitting those logs. And even if I'm just doing a contest weekend, some ADF files will be different from a program like Skookum Logger versus N3FJP. So
Mhm.
I can see how that can be frustrating, and then you're putting all those into, and you have to download them, save them, put them in a file somewhere, try and keep them. Hopefully you don't lose that file, and hopefully your PC that you have them on don't crash. And then eventually you hope it's like, well, did I upload that to QRZ or did I not? I can't remember if I did that one,
Right. Right.
or did I upload
Yeah.
the POTA activation to the POTA site? I don't remember. So um,
Mhm.
I can see where something like this integration between different logging programs can be very handy.
Yeah, it irritates me when I would find like half a dozen QSOs on my phone that I had from a while ago that I forgot about, that I didn't upload or whatever. So
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was part of it. And I spent a little over a year at ARRL, so I had exposure to LOTW. I was their
oh yeah.
IT director. So it was one of my goals there, and it's something I had started on, was to build an LOTW, second generation LOTW product.
All right.
And so this kind of started as a prototype for that. It sort of started as a you know, back in my pocket. I mean, just something I decided to do, and it evolved like everything else. I end up just keep adding to it, and it wouldn't be cool if. So really, the thing about DXQSO is that we're evolving to essentially a social media platform with
Oh
logbook
really?
integration. Yeah, yeah. So to give you sort of a summary of it, I look at DX QSO as a QSO clearinghouse, and my goal is that everything will integrate all logbook application. You keep your existing logbook application, but
More
we're the sort.
applications.
What's that?
More applications with an
Yeah.
S.
Oh, multiple ones, right? Yeah. And you're able to integrate all of them using the cloud, right? So everything's syncing. So Dropbox sync for ham radio logbook applications is really what was one of the goals of DXQSO. And along with that is integration with all the backend systems. So we integrate with LOTW now, both pushing QSOs and pulling QSOs, as well as our plans are to do QRZ, Club Log, EQSL.
Oh sure.
So essentially, and the logbook vendors love that because then they can just push their data to us, and then we'll take care of it on the back end. Um, so so yeah, that was being a QSO clearinghouse was probably the second goal. The first goal was really to be a backup to LOTW.
Oh,
So when with even the freemium membership, you're what we do is we have a new version of TQ. TQSL? Have you used it?
yes, I've got a logbook of the world account myself. I've got the TQSL files. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing we do is we replace that with our TQSL. It's called DX TQSL. And what that does is put all your certificates and stations in the cloud. So no longer do you need to worry about installing certificates and everything. Wherever you go and install DXTQSL, your certificates and stations follow you.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can edit those stations on the cloud. You can load certificates on the cloud. When I was with the ARRL, that was sort of like our first thing that we wanted to do to alleviate the support, a lot of the support that the LOTW team was having to deal with is all these issues with certificates.
Yeah, a lot of people I think a lot of people are typically steered away from the logbook of the world because it's a pain in the ass, to put it kindly, to be
Yeah.
able to set up and configure. A lot of people struggle with that, and especially if again, we do have an aging or older population within the amateur radio group, and if they're trying to set up logbook of the world, it may be a struggle for them to get in and figure out what the hell's a certificate even. So
Oh, for sure.
it doesn't surprise me one bit. So
Yeah.
and then a little side squirrel moment, but even trying to figure out how to upload my information to the logbook. I mean, I've got logbook of the world there, but once you get in logbook of the world, then trying to figure out how I need to set up for an award and submit that information,
Oh my God, yeah,
that's
I
even
know.
more difficult and challenging. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
very frustrating, a very frustrating system. And I steered away from it for a long time, but now I've got it set up and figured out. I mean, I can literally just put my password in, export the information, and download to whatever I need to keep it more on a local basis. I keep a cloud, I use QRZ as my main cloud to keep all my different logging files out, send the ADF file to, or
Hmm.
do an e-log where it just I can hit upload or download from there, but on something like N3FJP. But
Yeah, and 3FJP is unique in that you can actually download, which is kind of cool.
yeah,
Most of the logging programs you upload only to
only.
to the web, whether it's LOTW or whatever it is.
Yep.
So,
So
yeah,
that's
that's
pretty,
pretty.
it's pretty slick. So I mean,
Yeah.
now it's got figured out, but it's taken me a while to get there to that point. So
Hmm.
having something like that where you can really keep it all on one platform, this is cool. So for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could do something like what you're doing with sending stuff to QRZ, but we're really looking to do a interactive. So you could have your phone, you could have your tablet. It's real time sync.
Well,
So that's really why we built the mobile app, is so we could demonstrate how there's a real time sync nature to it.
I mean,
So
let's say I have a contact with N1EZ and I'm on 40 meters or whatever. And it's like, hey, I think we've worked before. And it's like, well, you know what? That probably was on my iPad or it could have been on my computer at home, but I'm not doing a person there right now. It's like, I don't have
mhm.
any record of him in there. But if we're using your software, it's not like, oh, yeah, we can pull you up right away because it's going to sync with all that data from.
That's a good point for another feature. That's a good feature. So right now we have QSL alerts that we're actually rolling out right now. So we will alert you through a push notification or email if it's new you set the parameters, but new DXEC on a band, grid square, state, ITU zone, CQ zone, even county,
Yep.
prefix. You can set all that up to alert you when you get a new QSL. But one of the things we're doing is we're building not only the QSL achievements alerts, but but we're also building the QSO activity engine. And
Okay.
what that's going to do is alert you to real time non QSL activities. So things like working the same station another time. That's an alert I hadn't thought about, that we could pop up and say bing, on your
Yeah, we
phone.
worked back on, November 23rd of 2023 or something, it's like,
Hmm.
good chat with you again type thing. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of cool that you could
Well,
see that.
I'm sure some logbook programs, if you pay attention, like I think Mac Logger does that too, where you said earlier you use it. I think it might tell
Like
you that you want.
N3FGP, I know will do it a lot. I
Yeah,
haven't played with MacLogger as much as I'd like to say I have. Um, but
any one of these logbook programs, it takes a lot of time. I mean, it's really, when you use a bunch of them, you only get to use like 10% of their functionality. Because
yeah,
even now, like, I was big HR. I use HRD and MacLogger,
right,
and I'm just discovering now, after spending some real focused time on it, that what it can do. Like, especially with, I've never touched the awards, any of the achievement stuff. So that's kind of cool. What it can do.
right.
So.
And when you're building these databases, is this sitting in like a SQL database as well?
Well, actually, we're using, so one of the big deals, one of the things I really wanted to do was build something that was very highly scalable and incredible performance. So we're using AWS, and we're using what's called a NoSQL database.
Okay,
So we can push anything in there. That's why we could take ADIF data, and when we load your data from your logbook, we take it in its original form and we store it in its original form. So everything is not touched. Nothing is molested up in the database. So we promise. And so when you download it, you pick the format. You pick the logbook format that you want. You mentioned earlier that different logbook programs have different Cabrillo like format.
yep, or ADS sometimes,
And
yep,
yeah, and in the ADF world, same thing, right? So they have different things that they care about and they pay attention to. So we have a mapper that maps your original format into whatever you want. And what's cool too is that I did a lot of stuff with, like, I got a little lost because I had MacLogger. I loaded originally it was HRD. I took my HRD stuff, loaded into MacLogger, and then and then I took my and then I took both my HRD original and my Mac logger that had stuff from HRD, loaded both into the cloud. The nice thing is that it doesn't lose any data. So the fields that, like, you're only going to get whatever fields that the whatever logbook program have, right? So I lost some data when I went from HRD to Mac logger. And so now I'm able to pull the original data, and in the cloud, we merge it all together. So you look at that one QSO, you've got actually records that came from my Mac logger version of it and my HRD version of it, and it's all there.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I love HRD, but until he comes out with version 7 with Mac, it's like, yeah, that's why I've been truly searching for a much better program to be able to keep everything together in one solid database, and just haven't really gotten there. That's why I've kind of went everything to like an E-log, sending everything to QRZ. So because it's like that way, I know I have a database somewhere of all my files. You start making 40,000 contacts. Not that I'm nowhere near that, but do you really want to lose all that? Down the road.
Right.
No, you want to keep that. I think it's like you don't really have a good purpose for it, but it is kind of cool to say, hey, look at that, I've got 40,000 contacts here.
I tell you what, I we only have a few hundred users right now. We haven't really made an announcement. We haven't really pushed anything out.
Right.
But the more people get exposed to, I have a lot of international users. Like they're coming from everywhere, and
Sure.
I'm in touch with Luke. I haven't talked to him, but he's like a friend of mine now. We've been going back on email. He's got 89,000 QSOs. He lives on the islands there off of Spain.
Like Jersey or something, or
no, like Spain, Spain, like the oh my God, it starts with the C.
There's a couple small islands down there. I can't remember what they are offhand.
Yeah, and he's the most that we had, and it's been a good test. Every time we run into different levels of people, there's a KG5 that loaded some data that broke things for us and taught us that we need to treat LOTW more, carefully. Not carefully, but it's just not very sophisticated, so we have to be smarter than it.
How long is this?
The Canary Islands. That's where
Canary Islands. That's it. How long has DX QSO really been kind of in development then?
About a year and a half now.
Year and a half. Okay.
Yeah, multiple people from around the world working on it.
So, you have multiple developers working on it and building it.
Oh yeah, I got a guy in the UK who's kind of focused on the DXT QSL part. Got a couple back end guys. Got a couple and web, but one of them is more web. And then I got a couple on the mobile side, and I'm looking for another person on the PC. The guy I have in DXT QSL is more Mac, so I'm getting another PC person. And over the year and a half, I've had other people come and go, so it's been interesting.
Yeah. So, let's take a look at the program a little bit and kind of show people what this looks like and how it works, and maybe let's take them from. Can you kind of take us from the beginning, roughly, of like what it takes to set up an account, or
sure, yeah,
to what it looks like when they get into the program, and how maybe those two programs will integrate between the logbooks. I think you should be able to share a screen here.
All right,
I want to make that. There we go. That's perfect.
We're doing some FT8 in the background here.
Absolutely.
This Mac logger. So I'm logged in here. I can log out easy enough. Yeah, I can log back in later to show you that one. But so if you want to create an account, I'm on our staging environment. So
can you make that screen a little bigger?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know what? I can also zoom in. You want me to zoom? You want me to share just that window? Maybe that would work.
Yeah, we could share just that window maybe too, so we could see a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
share something else. We'll go back to window and we'll do this one. That should look a lot better.
There we go.
Yeah, you see that okay now?
Oh, yeah. A lot better for, if someone's going to watch this on a phone or something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm usually using my phone from across the room to zoom in to.
That's funny.
It's pretty bad. So
Yeah.
here's a sign in. So you could sign in, sign in as a freemium user right away. The difference is the $30 a year fee. So
I mean, $30. I mean, that's what a lot of people will pay for like QRZ stuff. I mean, that's not a bad price. I mean, that's still reasonable. I mean, that's a couple of cups of coffee, or it's you know, I mean, that's cheaper than ARRL membership. So
I'll need like thousands of people to make it break even. Put it that way.
I'm sure you do. Yes, absolutely. I have no doubt. Yeah, these programs run a lot. It's not a
Well, it's AWS fees, and they're not cheap, and
no,
we're using.
yes, exactly.
We're trying to be cost effective in how we use them, but okay. So I'm just gonna pick an email address and pick a new one and put in my password and accept the terms. You can view the terms here if you like.
Sure.
And enter my call sign.
We can try and blur that out too, so people don't see that down the road.
Yeah, they probably see in all the documentation anyways. You could choose to put in your LOTW credentials. I'd recommend doing it right away and just get it.
Oh, sure.
But you enter your LOTW credentials here. You test
and enter them right from the beginning.
The login. Yep. Once I do that, I hit the green button. I validate my credentials and then complete the registration.
So very simple setup, very simple login.
And from there, you'll need to check your Gmail account or whatever, your email account, I should say. I thought I had it bookmarked.
If you want to go back into one of your other programs you already signed into, that's fine too.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, once they create an account, it's pretty easy. Pretty simple at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And then, so let me go into staging, which. So at that point, you would get an email from us to activate your account first. Verify, so you have to do that. Yeah, verify your email address. Then once you click on that, then you can just log in with your credentials. I'm going to use just one of my test accounts.
Yep.
I'm trying to keep my real account as unabused but it's hard because I'm in it so often. I want to test things and I end up messing things up. Anyway, so
this is once someone logs in, this is kind of what they're seeing here.
Yeah, this is the main page, right? So you've got your QSOs at the top, QSLs, logbook information. We'll step through each of those, station data. So if you click on one of these, you're able to quickly go to one of your this contact, right? So here you can scroll down and see all the logbook data. There isn't a lot here because that was like an FT8 or something that I did. But if I really want to look at logbook data, I've got to look at some things I've done pre-building this because I've been, I use right now a lot of my stuff is test data and I just do it quick with FT8 or something. Right. Anyway, so here's the information. I can click on this person's call sign, launch the QRZ info. Here I need to log into my QRZ account. I don't know why they never fix this. I still have to do this. Never gives me after you log in the person's information. So all right, so here's their intro. I go back here. Next time I click on it, it goes directly into
right.
Yeah. And then so the ones that are in green are QSLs, right? So those are ones that you have confirmed from LOTW.
Okay. Just like
And so you could just look through these. Now you can do filters here. You could filter on typical things, date and time, modes.
You get like a QSL card or something, and you want to filter it and look for it, find it, and there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Put the person's call sign right in here, and then you'll get it right away. So that's like the main thing. Okay. And from here you can also show a map. One of the things you could do is like filter on, I don't know, particular. I want to see where I've done, SAT stuff.
So you filter by like mode even then.
Yeah, and I haven't done this before, but I'm thinking, is there a sat? I guess I no, I guess what I'll do is I'll filter on the band. So I'm going to take this off, none, and filter on. I know anything I've done on 440 is satellite work, or the majority of it is. I've done some D-Star that I've
Oh,
logged,
sure.
but so if I look at this, I can look at
Oh, yeah.
the now then you can drill down on the map. You can like click in on this and see, okay, what was this? Oh, it was here, 435.
Huh.
What satellite was it? Does it say? You know, I don't know if I've loaded the logbook data. Oh, you know what? All right, here's the issue. So my test account is not, I haven't loaded logbook data for my test account. I've
Okay.
only pulled the data from LOTW. So what happens is I need to take my logbook, and I can do that here under logbook. I can do an ADIF upload.
Oh, so just take any ADF file you got and just do an upload to it then.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And I've done this. I did this a little while earlier today, but not for recent QSOs. I only
Sure.
did them through 24. So some of the data could look better. Like, well, actually, this one here, this is FT4. So when did I do this? This is February. So I guess I have something that looks fairly decent. Anyway, so this is, yeah. So under QSOs, this is your logbook. You can drill into your. If I want to actually drill into the map, and
Oh, sure.
I don't know why this guy's out here, but let's see. He's maybe he's mobile. I don't
Maybe
know.
it's maritime or something.
Maritime mobile, yeah. Um, he's Barnstable,
Huh.
UA1. Let's look him up on.
Maybe he's got a grid score or something off. Data.
Oh yeah, should go over here and then drill on N1EZ. West Chatham. Well, that's practically in the ocean, so you know.
Yeah.
All right, so I go back here to my Q. This is all my QSO detail. Now, if I want to just look at my QSLs that came in, these are my most recent QSLs that came in, sorted by date and by source. So right now we have LOTW as the only source. You're going to only see LOTW coming down here, but you can drill in on these as well and see what you have.
And that's a data that that's automatically come in from different logging programs.
This one is only LOTW because
Right.
uh,
But I'm saying if you had MacLogger or RumLog or N3FJP, it would show
Yeah.
you as another source in there, and you can you
Yeah.
by the different logbook then?
The source of the QSL can only be LOTW EQSL or Club Log or something else that confirms QRZ.
Gotcha.
But you would see the logbook field identified in the logbook detail here, the
Yep.
source of the log, which there is no, because I only pulled this from LOTW. I haven't loaded a log file
Sure.
for this particular QSO. It would be much more extensive if I had. So that's because I'm creating accounts all the time. I'm literally, every day I create a new one. So I run out of them. So my primary one, I should probably call it my N1EZ one, which is my primary one, would have the logbook detail.
Sure.
So that's your QSLs. And then here, logbook data is where you load data into your logbook if you have an ADIF file. You could do this on the mobile platform as well. So everything I'm showing you here, you could do we have an iOS and we have an Android app. And you can do that from those platforms, which is cool because that's where you could take your Hammers or your Polo or whatever logbook, Smart SDR, directly from the mobile platform, upload it to DX QSO, and then DX QSO will send it to LOTW for you. So you don't have to worry about that,
Wow. Okay.
loading it into your intermediate logbook app. This is my LOTW configuration.
Sure.
And this is where I turn on LOTW upload. So if I want a DX QSO to take any QSOs that aren't marked as having been sent. So when you upload things with DX TQSL,
Yep.
they're marked. When you have a traditional PC submitting to LOTW using TQSL, using our version, it will still upload directly from the PC. You can alternatively just say, no, just send it to DX QSO, and then DX QSO will upload it. Either way, when you flip this switch, it will look in your cloud log, and anything that hasn't been confirmed or hasn't been verified to have been sent in DX QSO, it will get sent to DX. I'm sorry, it will be sent to LOTW.
Nice. That's very cool.
These are backups.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Yeah, and that was a lot of work. Getting that work.
Right.
So what we do is we verify the QSOs too. We don't just ship them there. After we upload to LOTW, we'll go back and we'll verify that the QSO was received and stamped by them. So, so this is where you do backups of your TQSL or our DX TQSL environment.
Sure.
You can manually do a backup to the cloud at any point in time and go back to a point in time. So if you're going to do something funky with your certificates or whatever, you want to do a quick backup to the cloud, it just does it. Then you can pull it here. You can restore it within the app itself, within DX TQSL itself, or if it's some other, it will restore the latest cloud backup. If you want to go older than that, you can save the file from here and then download it to your PC and then restore it.
Nice.
Link to LOTW is really giving me a link, a listing of the history of my linking to LOTW, right? So when I pull QSOs down.
Yeah, when you pulled them or sent them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the QSO downloads are here, the QSL downloads are here, and the uploads are here.
Okay.
And when you do upload a contact, we have a flag. So for example, you can go in here in the QSOs and look for anything that you've submitted to LOTW that's still in the queue, that has been uploaded, that has been verified. So it's been uploaded and verified. And then that's it. Anything that had an error or whatever is listed here, not applicable. Don't really know what that is, but figure that out. And again, they can be uploaded either by DXTQSL or by DX QSO. And a lot of acronyms, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
And then download logbook allows you to filter your cloud logbook on a number of parameters and then choose the format that you want to. And if someone has a format that we don't have listed here, just send us an example of it and we'll build it into our system. We'll map it.
Wow, looks like you've got a little bit of everything in there. You got rumlog in there?
Everything we could find. Rumlog. Oh.
That's for Mac.
I have it, yeah. I'm surprised. I don't know. I guess we don't.
No, that one I would probably. That's a pretty popular program, so
yeah, a
good one to look at. And
I'm surprised.
What about you got club log in there?
Yes.
Yep, I see it now. Yep, there it is.
Oh, wait a minute. I see. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Yep. What's the possibility of getting those into a more alphabetical order?
That's
silly guy. Right?
That's an excellent idea.
No, I mean, just easy for somebody to find if they're looking for Mac loggers. Like, well, it's like I'm going to go towards the bottom for it. It makes sense. So, just
that's probably. Yeah, if I wasn't, dealing with all these other little bugs and priorities, yes, I'm going to put that in. Yeah, I promise tonight.
Yeah, it's just something I'm looking at. It's like that makes sense. It was a really good.
It's so that's why I laughed. It's so obvious. I should have already had that. But
yeah, and then I said probably add rumlog however you can in there. So at some point,
yeah, add that in. Yeah,
that's the only other big program I can see that's in there. So
the other big area is stations. And
just like how your Pacific information.
Yeah, what's cool about stations, and this is going to get into a lot of neat stuff, especially when we get into social media. Stations is originated with LOTW stations, right? But we've sort of expanded it from there. So with LOTW, or what you create in TQSL for stations, it really indicates your physical location, right? So if you're operating here, your place in Florida, or you moved houses, you'd have an old station retired and a new one. So we still support that, and stations get mapped to certificates.
Let me interrupt you for just a second here. One thing about it is people have a lot of remote stations now,
Yes.
And so, they have that capability to be able to do that, or they're
Hmm.
running that for some reason. So, you're always your station is come. I may be in Massachusetts, but I'm remoting into Wisconsin,
Hmm.
and so my transmitter is in Wisconsin. My grid square is coming from that station there. It's
Hmm.
not coming from my location in my physical location. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's interesting to be able to have that ability. In this is kind of cool that you can, I guess, pick and choose.
Yeah, and I'll log into an example of my account that has. I have one account that's crazy. I have like 20 stations. That's because eventually they all get copied together because I've been doing some testing on the DXT QSL product. But the thing about stations is you're right. It's more than just the physical location anymore. It's your operating activity. So I operate remote as well. I operate mobile.
Oh, yeah, right.
I operate. I do satellite. I have a satellite, essentially a station within my station that I do sat stuff with.
All the POTA stuff
Um,
that people do nowadays.
yeah, POTA contests. SOTA. All these different activities that people have. So now when you create when you create a station, we've added some additional types. So everything from MCOM, mobile, POTA, portable, remote, satellite, SOTA, VAR-AC, which is a big one. I love VAR-AC.
Yep,
Um, have you used it?
a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's cool. VHF digital, your D Star or whatever, or
Well, sure.
uh,
Fusion.
yeah, I like Fusion too. And VHF, IOTA. We'll add more things in there, but on field day is another one. We've got some great ideas. So imagine this. So now this is when I get excited because then we start talking about real time activity of what's going on. So when you start using this real time with your logbook, sending data to the cloud, we're monitoring it in our activities module. Now, with your permission, when you say in the notification section, you say, yeah, publish to my social page, will monitor your activity and push out things like, "Hey, Steve's doing he's mobile right now, or in this area, or he's working a POTA, he's activated a POTA here, or
Wow.
he's just worked a new DX for him.
So this is
It's not
watching
confirmed yet.
Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and letting people know.
Even better, a ham radio specific social media platform,
Oh,
which is this is debuting for the first time to anybody publicly ever. So,
here we go. You
so
heard it right
this
here, folks.
this is our social media site, right? So this is I can expand this to make it a little bit better with a menu, but so this is my buddy Luke in Canary Islands, and I've been talking to about other DXQSO related things, but uh, so this is activity. So here is the main thing that I like is the wire. The wire is where your activities are published, right? So right now we've got very stupid activities. Um, nothing, nothing exciting, right? But it's proving the point that we're pushing our data to our social media platform in real time, and literally like in a couple of hours when my Indian guys are coming online, we will I'll start to see some of the because we did some great work last night with identifying achievements, QSL achievements, based on we were everything from your DXCC, of course, to grid to prefix to county to state to ITU to CQ zone. So all this new stuff. So all this stuff, these are all confirmations that have come in from whatever confirmation service you have. If it's QRZ, LOTW, whatever you have, we're going to pull it in and then alert you through your phone, a pop up on your phone, which the first time I got a pop up on my phone that said new DXCC, I was like, ah! My
Right.
wife was like, what? So this is what we've been working on for months. Um, so, so, um, so the QSL achievements will come in from those other websites, but your activity will be your operating activity will also be analyzed in a separate engine. That we haven't begun that work yet, but we're now that we have the model for the QSL, it's going to be it'll be similar.
Sure.
But I want to get ideas on what kind of things. Like you mentioned before, work this guy before, right?
Yep.
That's a new activity that I want, and that might be a push to your phone only. I'm not sure if you'd really care about it on social media, but
Right.
but when you're using our stations and we have some idea about your activity, now we're looking at the ADIF field, so we can tell certain things about your activity, right? So if you're pushing a contest,
Yep.
we know the contest name, right? So we could kind of tell even without that, but using our stations gives us the ability to know a little bit about your activity level. As soon as we get a record for it, we know that you're operating mobile, or you're operating remote, or you're whatever you're doing.
That's cool. That's really interesting.
So yeah, this is the social media platform, and from here, you can get. I am going to be talking to groups, right, or ham clubs, and trying to, hopefully promoting them our to start using a social media platform. And within here, you can have private groups and public groups.
Nice.
You can do, individual users can have their own pages, their own blogs. We can users can bookmark things, discussion topics like forums and that sort of
Oh,
thing,
really?
and of course keep files. So even within a group, you could do all that stuff as well privately. So you can have just group members have access to it.
So everything all in kind of an all-in-one inclusive program here.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of going for. I mean, we
This
I
is
think
like,
that's the making it exciting. I mean,
yeah.
for groups of teams of users and friends who are just what's going on. I listen to I'm gonna wrap myself out here, but I listen on local simplex frequency. I won't say the one, but a lot of guys are doing chasing DX, and especially on FT8.
Oh, yeah.
So I listen quietly on there, and when they find something, I'm like right on it. I'm like, they got to know. I've only talked to them a couple times, so they got to know I'm listening. And
Right.
but this is like the same thing, but with a social media thing, and I get it on my phone when I'm not at the shack, and I'm like, oh crap, Jim just worked, DX whatever, and
Right.
I didn't. Or I got to get on. Maybe I'll get on remote using my phone, which
That's a great tool. I like this a lot. This is slick. Um, that,
thank you.
that's a I don't know. It's very intuitive and seems like it's pretty easy to get through the program. It's you have a lot going on here, but it still looks like it's fairly easy user interface for people to be able to maneuver and manage through it.
And just keep in mind, all this data is coming in from your, QRZ, LOTW, Club Log, wherever. Well, you're pushing mostly to Club Log, I think, but
Right.
EQSL will be on the list as well. All this
So
information is coming in, and we're analyzing it, and then pushing it out to you.
so on let's say I'm working FT8 whatever, and a buddy's got me um, on alert or whatever, and it says, hey, Marvin just made contact with the Canary Islands, and then 2 or 3 minutes later he's working Spain, and now he's working Italy, and it's like,
Yeah.
are they getting all those alerts every time that comes through that I'm working all these different stations?
Well, we're gonna have to fine tune the
Algorithm.
QS. Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Like,
they don't want to be their phone going ding, ding,
right,
ding, ding
right,
every time.
right.
Like,
Well,
I got to turn this off because this is annoying to me. We don't want that
we
either. So,
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And I've talked to my developers, and it's really going to be based on. We haven't got to this point yet, but it's going to be based on activity level, right? So if you're someone who's logging a lot of activity,
yep.
there's you're going to have summary data for them on the social media platform.
Okay.
Steve worked 20 new contacts, 5 new DX or something like
Oh,
that.
sure. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Someone who hasn't been on in a while, maybe when they show up, hey, Steve worked Ohio, for God's sakes, he got on the air.
Yeah.
So, and the push alerts are only right now meant for QSL activity for you personally.
Okay.
So you would get them. I haven't really thought much about the activity, the operating activity module. Whether or not it would do push alerts to your phone, it may be something we could configure. But yeah, that's the thought. But all this stuff, I mean, push alerts cost money, believe it or not.
I'm thinking the activity is kind of something like kind of like a ham alert. that says, hey,
Mhm.
I have N1EZ on my ham alert. So next time you pop in the air, I go, oh, hey, you know what? I know N1EZ is on there. I'm going to go try and work him on 14.280, and so I didn't know if it was
Well,
that type of activity of alerting or more.
I think Hamlet does a great job of that. So
It
I'm
does,
not sure if we need to replicate it.
got
What I think of is really I want to know what my buddies are doing.
no, you're
You
right.
know, when I'm in that group, when I join the group, then I become and anyone that I become
So the
friends with,
activity is only
right?
going to be from the group side then, for within that group itself.
Yeah,
I
I
got you.
mean,
Okay,
I think what, and it's all new, so I can't tell you for sure, but the way that I
mine,
envision it is
yeah,
when there's not a lot of data, you're going to be seeing data for people you don't know.
right.
But when there's a lot of data, and you could filter, for example, you look at, oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. You click on the wire, you could just look at your friend activity here,
Got
right?
you. So you can
Uh,
choose your friends and who you know. Okay,
yeah, yeah, and then just what have I pushed out? That's going to be my activity. Um,
gotcha.
so
Okay,
right now, those are really unexciting things that we do, but we're just literally replacing them now with new DXEC or new grid or new state, that kind of thing.
yeah,
So yeah, that's meant to really go to people that you know. So you're gonna if you see a lot of a lot of activity, you're gonna quickly filter. Oh, what are my friends doing?
yeah. Nope, nope. That makes sense. Perfect. Makes perfect sense. Absolutely. So that's good.
So
This,
yeah, you've got all this activity from you know we're building an API gateway so that we're going to work directly with the logbook vendors. So when you enter your data into Polo or Hammers or whatever it happens to be, it's feeding us directly. That activity level is going to, if you want it to, it's pushing to the social media platform. It's saving in your cloud. It's pushing up to LOTW or QRZ to feed those systems. So and then at the same time, we've got DXT QSL, which is really the legacy linkage between the logbook application and DX QSO. So as hopefully over time, the logbook applications will migrate to having direct support for DX QSO. So it's a much more intelligent communication than
I think a lot of the loggers would probably be pretty open to that for the most part.
I've talked to a bunch of them and things are looking good. And
Good.
it's just we've been focused on so many things, and social media platform right now is the big one. Uh,
Yeah. So, what does it take for someone if they are watching this video a week from now and they want to be able to, or 2 months from now, they want to get on here and subscribe, or start setting this up? Obviously, they need to go out and sign up as the first step. But beyond that, if they've got some problems or issues of some sort, is there a kind of a knowledge base or a forum or some type of groups IO or something that they can go in and say, hey, I'm trying to set this up, but I'm not getting this notification, or some reason
yep.
I've got my rum log is not syncing over to the DX QSO for some reason. I can't
Mhm.
figure this out. I need some help. You're going to need a little bit of a tech support side of some sort to be able to help out with that. What does that look like?
Well, it's me right now. I, I've got a couple of guys I'm talking to. Actually, they're both named Andrew, different areas of the country that have volunteered to do some QA, and hopefully I can get them to help support as well. But right now we have a live support chat on our website, so you
Okay.
could go there and it will ping the team, the development team, and who's going to pick up on that is me. But there's also some FAQs up there and stuff. But what you want to do when you first sign up, so obviously go to dxqso.org, and then from there you sign up for the account. The key things to do are to install the DXTQSL, download and install the PC or the Mac application, which will do everything your current TQSL does, but more, and send data to DXQSO. You also want to upload your ADIF log file, so your historic logbook entries will be in DXQSO. Everything will be in DXQSO except the big thing about DXQSO is it's full logbook detail, not just what's in LOTW. QRZ will take all your ADIF data, but it only displays certain fields. when you download it, I think it will give you everything.
Do you have an
But
example of a logbook that we can look at? We can see that someone's got multiple fields here.
yeah, let me see if I log into my if I log into my other account. If I still have this is the one. I'm gonna laugh because all day I've been, because I have the same account on production and
Oh, sure.
staging, and so I have multiple passwords, and I've been going back and forth to try to remember which server had what password. It's
Right.
and I've been guessing wrong every time. So all right, let me try this one.
Our cross fingers, hope this one works.
Doesn't look it because I did it. All right.
There you go.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back
We
in
want to
time.
see our logbook that what all we got 3,000 logs in there or whatever. We want to see what that looks like.
Yeah. This I'm gonna go back. Well, no, it doesn't matter. I can just do it from here. First, I'm gonna do is 500 entries. I'm gonna go to here because I need to get before I started doing testing. It's just not pretty.
Right.
And
So we can change what we see at the top there. I mean, you got call, date and time, mode, band, DXCC.
no, that's fixed.
Oh, that's fixed. Okay.
That's fixed. Kind of interesting idea, but so this is a full logbook entries for someone. So let's see. This is tagged hand logbook program. That's something that when you load data, you can tag it, right? So you can tag your log files with your own description, right?
Okay.
And you pick a station, and if you want to tag it, you can tag it. Sometimes it's useful. You could say I was operating remote on Mount Kearsarge, or something like that. That's what I use it for. So whoever loaded this, and I think it was one of my developers, used this hand logbook program as a description for it. So I was hoping.
So here's my quick question. We're talking about uploading this ADF file, and hopefully my logging program at that point, I was, if I'm working FN32, which is my current grid square, and I was doing that's fine. If I was up from remoting from home or in my station here locally behind me, and I was operating. But let's say I was connected to my remote station and it's over in EM65.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I upload that file, can I put that grid square, that information in there from that station that shows that it's EM65 versus my FN32?
So the EM65 isn't, it should be wherever your radio was located, right?
Right.
So yeah, you could create a station with that grid square, no problem.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would.
And that ADF file then would apply to that station.
Yep. When it loads it to LOTW or wherever it goes.
So it would have the proper grid square associated with it then.
That's right. These are the stations I have here. A little crazy because a lot of testing, but I created one for VAR-AC for my VAR-AC contacts. And let's see, POTA, SAT work, when I'm portable, mobile.
Right.
And POTA, the thing about field day too is really cool. I had some clubs come up with this idea, and I got to jump on it this week. We're thinking about building a field day type, and the field day type would allow people who are in a group, either at field day or working from home, to all choose this field day type. If they're members of the same group or club on the social media platform, we link those users together. All of their field day activity will get scored in real time and pushed out to the social media platform. So you can get, I don't know if we would do push alerts, but you could certainly go to the social media platform and see how you're doing as a club.
Oh, sure.
We have to make some, we have to do some custom stuff because you're going to have to specify the.
Not really kind of like a leaderboard.
Yeah, it would just just for your club, how well you're doing, how many QSOs, and you could report on individuals within that, how many people, what stations within that Yeah. So you got, even when the station's at field day, you could show the record or the score for each one, or like how many QSOs and
Oh,
stuff like
sure.
that.
Interesting.
So it could get real interesting, and that's in
But
real time.
wow,
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. I was really excited by that.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting stuff.
So we'd have to make some tweaks to the station, and you'd have to specify. You have to go over the field day rules and stuff, but like power, the different stations have the scoring
Yeah.
differences based on your power usage and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, when we start doing stuff for winter field day, we're
Oh,
throwing
you know all about this. I
we're
forgot.
throwing the objectives and stuff in there, and it could become a little interesting how we import that data and how we keep it on the back end, and yeah, it's challenging at times.
What do you use for logging on field day?
Well, I mean, me personally, I'm usually like, I've done a lot in N3FJP type of stuff. But this last winter, I don't remember what I used for winter field day this past year. It's probably something on a Mac, probably a RumLog I used, I think, for winter field day this year. But, people use, I think we have like 10 or 15 different programs that people submit. When they submit their logs, they're submitting in. And then the other problem with logging programs is we'll have, I'll just use N3FJP as an example. They've got version 5.4 and he's now at version 6.8. And every version in between there that people have used over the years, they just refuse to update or change it. And so we're still getting version 5.4, which had old fields in there that we're no longer using. And then it creates chaos as well. So it's very chaotic sometimes for us to go through and sort out some of that data. And one thing we found as well, and I'm sure you're seeing this, is I'm trying to think of a good example of how basically the short of it is that one logging program or developer will build and name this block RST sent. The other one will just go RST or something.
Yeah.
And so then it's the same thing, but they're labeled differently. It's the same file, but it just, it's identified differently. And so that becomes confusing because like, well, what is that signal really, when it comes in? So, some people have switched like we use for winter field day, class and category. Well, some people will put it as a category first, then the class. And so, your fields are then swapped. So,
oh man,
it can become confusing for sometimes. So we try and capture some of those ahead of time and we try and test a few of them out to say, hey, by the way, Scott over in N3FJP, your field wrong. He's not an example. He's good, but
talk to him.
it just say, hey, the fields are wrong on this. It needs to be class and category first, how we, do this. But yeah, I mean, I've never had to do that with him. He's always good, but that's kind of an example of some of the things we see in the variables that we get through some of those databases. So it can be very challenging at times. I understand what you're going through a little bit with some of this. It's you've got your work cut out for you for sure.
Well, we're agnostic a bit in the logbook data area, right? So we take whatever logbook data you're submitting and it goes up to the cloud. And then when you want it back, we send it back. Now, when we do the translation and the mapping, sometimes that can be interesting. But that's where some of the work is. But normal day-to-day stuff, it's, we're just sending you whatever you're sending up, we're sending back. And when you're looking for it, when you're reading the data, it's just whatever you've sent us. So
sure.
Luckily, we don't have to interpret a lot of it. Now, when we start getting into like the activity analysis engine, and we're doing like real time, that's when, different logbook applications are going to have different fields for different things, right?
Yep. So I wish we could make it more standard across the board. I think that's the frustrating part that I find from the winter field day side. I wish we could get all these logging developers to really, build it this roughly the same. So they can make it look however they want to make it, but just call the same field, So,
yeah. You would think. Let's see. Where's my mouse? Stop sharing. There. That's probably better. People don't look at my screen all day.
Great. I think this is an awesome program, an awesome thing going on. So I like that you can have this, cloud logbook per se. And Again, if people have questions, they just reach out to you. It looks like I see that little online chat that they can do. Uh,
Yeah.
any plans to come out with some videos or any tutorials on how to set up maybe some of the DX QSO TQSL files and how to set some of those things up along the way?
That's a good idea for the tutorials. I have some YouTube videos up. So if you go
Okay.
to our website, you can look at the product a bit on YouTube videos. I also have a Facebook group if people want to get on there and like it. It's brand new.
Okay.
It's a Facebook page, I should say. So if you want to check that out and like us on Facebook and YouTube, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And any questions, just let me know. We're still heavy in development, but we're close to we're our we're close to releasing our latest DX TQSL for PC. At that point, we're going to be pretty much focused on the social media aspect and the alerting side of it, which has expanded in scope in the last 24 hours when I learned of additional fields that were available to us, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, we got to do that, and that. But I'm also looking for ideas. I'm looking for clubs who are interested in really being pioneers on the social media side of it and
I saw you had
using
Granite
that.
State in there a little bit. Familiar with them?
Yeah,
So in one
yeah,
you are probably
yeah. I am a
Eric.
member. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
you're a member too. Okay.
yeah,
So you know
yeah.
Eric and everybody then.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So
Good guy.
yeah, he's a good guy. Absolutely. So
He's been here.
I'm on YouTube. I got to speak good of him.
I've
No, he really is a
seen
great
you
guy.
on his videos and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
So
I'm up on
yeah,
Northeast Ham Radio with him and everything. So yeah, he's a great guy.
yeah.
I'm just bullshitting with him. So
I smoke. I sit there smoking cigars, listen to you guys.
I actually
Just
came up to Winter Field Day up at not Paul. Who was the guy that hosted Winter Field Day for you club this year? Up on the hill.
oh, I don't know. I
Red
didn't
Hill.
go.
He's like the vice. He's the current president.
Oh, he lives up in like Kentucky.
Up on Birds Hill or something like that.
Yeah, like 3,000 freaking feet or something like that.
Yeah,
1,500 feet or
exactly.
something like that.
That was fun. That was a good time. So it was. I
Mhm.
brought some barbecued pulled pork and everything. It was fun. It was a
Nice.
good time. So yeah. Well, I again, I'm going to be pushing this out. I think this is great. Hopefully, you'll have some more people to get interest. Based on this video. And
Yeah, really appreciate you reaching out and having me on.
well, again, this is I think this is going to be a benefit for myself. Like I said, I got all these different logging programs. I want to be able to bring them together more and merge them into one
Mhm.
location. I think this is great. It's good to see. Definitely, I think that's a need that's out there, and hopefully, be able to clean up your ADF files and all your contacts and really merge them into one location. So
I could see you're flexing with all your flex equipment behind you there.
yeah, you probably see the micro down here in the corner and everything. So,
Nice.
absolutely. No, there's plenty. I've got another one on the radio. I've got another one on the way. They'll be here on Friday for testing as well. So
That's so cool. That's how I found out about Smart SDR. I was using the one for the Flex originally, and then
yeah,
I saw that they had the one for ICOM. I'm like, oh, what's that?
yep.
Everything changed after that.
Yeah, Smart SDR for ICOM. That's a slick program. I've played with that just a little bit for the 705. So
I talk about one particular Easter weekend. We were out on the patio with my wife and my sister-in-law, and I was half asleep. It was pretty slow, and I was sitting there with my phone, and I'm making like contact after contact, remote FD8 with my I could see my antenna like right across the yard,
right.
and who knew I was making like 100 contacts or something like that, half asleep talking to these guys, and they think I'm interested, but I'm really working on this.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah. Folks, if you're interested in this DX QSO Cloud, look again a little bit still in development, but it's like it's fully functional. It's out there. It's working. Reach out to dxqso.org to find out more information about that. Got a free premium subscription to be able to just go out and give it a trial. Now, is that just a trial, or is that good to stay free? And obviously,
There's a freemium plus. You automatically get upgraded for a week. It's a secret. After you sign in, you get the premium, and if you're active and you're using it, I'll upgrade you to member. So just
okay.
hit me up.
And then, again, a little bit of some limited features you get with a freemium account, but for $29 a year. Help, support DX QSO, get this launched and get this off the ground. Obviously, these things, storage and AWS isn't free either. Help Steve get this up and running. And I think this is a great program. I mean, for $30 a year, I mean, it's cheaper than an ARRL membership. So I can't complain. So
thanks, Marvin. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate this. Thanks for taking on such a task. This is awesome. I'm going to definitely be signing up myself for this and getting this going. I've got a few things in my books before I can, probably a week before I can even get to it, but trying to leave on Friday for a little bit of a trip and everything, but over Memorial Day weekend, but definitely we'll be looking at this and dive in a little bit more. So
if you have any questions, let me know. I'm always here, guys.
We'll do it. We'll appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you very much for your time. And thanks for joining us here on the Ham Radio Guy podcast. And we'll see you again. Until next time, we say, as always, 73.
73.